So, pretty much done sorting through the green and Nemesis. Just wanted to mention a couple of things here. I was thinking of it. One mechanic we had floating around, probably derived from the, I want to say Lawn Noir, I want to say it was Sentinel, I can't remember. It's a card from Weatherlight. It's like a 2 colorless and a green for like a 2/3, and when he comes into play you can pay a colorless and a green to search your library for another copy of him and put it into play. So it's theoretically possible that if you have a lot of mana available, you could play one and comes into play, search out the second comes into play, search out the third, and then the fourth. But anyways, we have the Skyshard Sentinel and the Nesting Worm. One's a 1/1, the other's a 4/3 Trampler. For the most part, they're overcosted for their power, toughness, and or abilities. In his case, no abilities. In his case, trample. However, they do have one interesting thing, is when they hit the battlefield, you search your deck for up to 3 copies of themselves. It's a mechanic that I believe was also used on Howling Wolf. I want to say that was in Masks. Not 100% certain. I believe you also see a similar mechanic on a 1/1 flyer that's currently in print. I can't even think of what it's called, which is sad because it's in the Cobblade archetype, which is going to have interesting things happen with it as well. I mean, the Cobblade archetype was it's a control deck that uses like white weenies and blue counters and deck manipulation and equipment. You play the bird, and depending upon whether you'd recently sorted through the top of your deck or not, and what you found there, you choose to or not to search your deck, then shuffle it. That's one of the things that that's kind of interesting with the shuffle effects. If you have a lot of effects that let you look at your top cards and or rearrange them, but not actually move them around if you don't like them, having the ability to shuffle your deck is actually kind of important. But anyway, so yeah, these guys let you tutor for more of themselves. Then we had a large number of cards in the set that were largely overcosted for what they did. Here we have three colorless and a red for a vanilla 2/2. However, he's got an alternate casting cost. If you control a force, you may have each other player gain 5 life instead of paying his mana cost. Now, if he had Trample or Shroud, he'd be good. But as is, it's just like, yeah, a 2/2, and all of your opponents gain 5. I mean, even a standard one-on-one match, it takes him more than 2 hits to counter the life gain your opponent got off of him. And it's generally not worth it. It really isn't. However, there is somewhere in Time Spiral Block there was a like a 2/2 Trample Kavu with the special ability of whenever opponents gain life, add +1/+1 counters to it equal to the amount of life that was gained. So yeah, this little bad boy, you you play that Kavu and then you just drop this guy on the board, and if you're in a 3-player game, that Kavu just got 10 +1/+1 counters. Yeah, he could get huge fast. And in fact, I saw someone pull that deck off before. It was rather interesting when it worked. The only real weakness the deck had was mass removal and the fact that you had to get the Kavu up, because without the Kavu, the deck really wasn't all that great. Blastoderm, I mentioned this guy yesterday. He's got Fading and Shroud. He's Fading 3. These days, I believe that would be like Vanishing 4. They redid the mechanic because they came to the conclusion the way the mechanic works is a little bit non-intuitive. But he's a 5/5 for 4 mana, goes away in a few turns, and he's got Shroud. So he's big, he's hard to deal with. He was very popular in drafts. Kid Science Fun stuff. Fog Patch. It's a variation on Fog. Play only during the Declare Blockers step. Attacking creatures become blocked. Now, what's interesting about... get that out of the camera. What's interesting about that, actually, is you might note there have been a handful of spells and effects in this block, and especially in this set, that, just say, creature becomes blocked. Not prevent all combat damage dealt by, just it becomes blocked. It's an ability that makes Trample more interesting. We also had, in red, the Laccoliths. The Laccoliths were a cycle of creatures. They came in a bunch of different sizes. There's a 1/1, a 2/2, a 3/3. I believe there was a 4/4 and a 6/6. I'm not 100% certain. Right here we have the Laccolith Warrior. He's an uncommon. 2 colors and double red for a 3/3. Like all Laccoliths, he had the special ability of whenever he becomes blocked, you may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature. If you do, it deals no combat damage this turn. To be perfectly honest, other than that and the heavy usage of the Flowstone mechanic, that is creatures, enchantments, and spells that gave creatures +1, -1. I mean, other than that, Red really didn't get anything truly amazing in Nemesis. It's just the way that it is. There were a handful of cards in it that, do see play occasionally. For example, Flame Rift, colors on red for I believe it's a sorcery. It's either a sorcery instant, but colors on red and deals 4 damage to all players. That sees play in Devoted Burn decks. I should know, I use it. Seal of Fire, each color had a seal. The green seal was basically a giant growth. The white seal, which you saw yesterday, was a disenchant. The red seal was a shock. The black seal is a dark banishing. Seal of Fire and seal of... I want to say the black seal was Seal of Doom? I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh well, but both of the black and the red seals were reprinted in Dissension, the third part of Ravnica block, because they decided that they fit in with the Rakdos Guild, and I'm not sure if I agree with that, because the seals kind of require a little bit more extra thought than you would expect out of the Rakdos, but hey, it wasn't my design decision to make, and that's okay. I mean, I still think it worked out more or less alright anyway. So, oh, and one other thing I want to mention, I forgot about it in green, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before. Rocks! 5/5 may deal combat damage to defending player as though it weren't blocked, or generates for 2 colors and a green. It's a 6 mana guy. Every time I see that card, all I can think of is the old Magic the Gathering commercial. They've got a couple of kids supposedly involved in playtesting and whatnot, and the Rocks is watching them through the one-way glass. And he's like, "Oh, where do you get these kids? Play my cards, you moron! I'm unblockable!" Oh, you gotta love the Rocks. He was awesome. Oh well. I'll catch you later, guys. Have a good one.